Hey guys, Languagehacker here. Today we're finally not going to do another Druid deck. We're going to talk about Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest was a pretty popular deck an expansion or two ago, and it kind of fell off with some of the very strong anti-aggressive tools that decks had in either combo decks or just control decks or whatever. Not control decks, but slightly slower decks ended up having really good tools that kind of drove Shadow Priest out of the meta, despite it being really good a couple of expansions ago. So let's talk about what the new list looks like, where I found the list, and how it's performing in the meta. Okay, here we go. So it's named JDeg. The person who had this list on Twitter, which is where I found the list, his name is JDeg, or their name is JDeg. The link to their Twitter is below if you want to go check out that and see what else they're up to. But let's talk about what we have here. A lot of the shell here is the same as we had back when we were playing Shadow Priest a couple expansions ago. I'll just talk about every single card. Raised Dead, Freshman, Og Merchant, Peasant, Tour Guide, Void Touched, Neophytes, Thrive, Deceptor, Wriggling, Mancrick, Void Shards, and Benedictus were all in the initial version of the list. I went through a lot of cards there. Basically, a lot of one-drops, spend your mana early, get on the board. Some support cards, some buff cards, Mancrick to high roll. You can put Mancrick's Wife in the deck and draw it off the Thrive in the Shadows. Draw some cards with the Deceptor. Draw some cards with the Peasant. And Void Touch basically closes out games and can just solo people very, very quickly because both heroes take 1 extra damage from all sources. When you have a board of tiny stuff, they hit for a lot more damage, and you can close out games very quickly. That, together with your hero power, which you get from Benedictus, if the spells in your deck are all shadow, enter shadow form, which means instead of healing, your hero power deals 2 damage. That's paired together with the aggressive stuff, some Void Shards for reach, and now Smite added to the deck. The deck has kind of, at least in the last day or so, become a bit more popular. It doesn't feel great against specifically Thief Rogue and Hand Warlock, and Hand Warlock was a bit of a tough matchup back in the day for this deck as well, which makes sense. Soul Rend is a very, very good card against your deck, and stabilizing with stuff like Bloodshard Bristlebacks and the Baron Scavengers is difficult for this deck to deal with. However, it is really good at killing some other decks. You bully Paladin, you can bully some Druids, you can still beat Rogue. It's still a pretty good tempo deck with a lot of aggression. There's several games where I just killed my opponent on turns 4 or 5, which is really, really cool. Because we haven't had hyper-aggressive decks like this for a little bit. We had Face Hunter around for a little bit, but Face Hunter still doesn't really close out the game on turn 4. I mean, Void Touch is just a crazy card. And it seems like this, at least the pocket meta we're in right now, benefits this deck a little bit. New cards. Trog is in. A lot of decks right now still run spells, and even with a nerf to Trog, summoning a bunch of Trogs synergizes very well with Void Touch attendant. 6 Trogs hidden for 2 each turn if you have a Void Touched in hand. A very nice way to close out the game. What else have we added in this deck? Serena Bloodfeather was around before, but wasn't really run on the deck. There are some tempo decks that can kind of have a big swing turn right now. Beast Druid is one that's popped up, and Serena can help deal with that to some extent. Make a thing smaller, make Serena big. It can help set up value trades. It's very cheap for its stat line. Almost all the decks right now run minions to some extent. So even if you're not removing like a giant with this against, let's say, Handlock, this is still pretty good just for tempo for 2 mana. You could opt to cut some of these legendaries that I'm about to go over to just add some more early game and have some more consistent aggression. But honestly, Serena didn't really feel too bad. Thrive gets you Raised Dead and Void Shard, but I talked about it. It's mainly used to pull Mancrick. If you have Mancrick on 3 and then Thrive, it's a very quick way to get the wipe out, get some extra damage. A bit of a high roll card, so you could end up cutting Mancrick and Thrive as well, but again, it's kind of okay. Wriggling, buff the deck. Najak has been added too. I don't think I like this card. I'm still not convinced about it. I played, what, 15 games or so? It felt really good in some games and then really bad in some other games. The issue with running a more expensive cards is that if you're trying to kill your opponent on turns like on turns 4, 5, 6, having a card like this that doesn't do anything sit in your hand is kind of awkward. When it hits, it's quite good. If you hit rush minions, it's great. You can hit a taunt minion and then just ignore their board and go face. Let you delay the game by 1 extra turn to get like an extra ping in with a Void Shard for lethal, where you don't have to deal with the board after that 1 turn. And you really want to reduce the amount of hands that you have that include Najok, Benedictus, Smite, and Void Shards, because those cards sit in your hand for a long time and don't let you spend your mana properly. You still want to overwhelm them on board and then kind of close out the game from there. I actually didn't talk about Leper either. Leper was a card that came on Dead Mines. If you're holding a Shadow Spell, deal 2 damage. It's an extra 2-drop. It's a bit of reach. Can help fight for board. Your hero power is great at fighting for board as well, but if you can play a 3/2 with the same effect as your hero power for the same mana, it's pretty good, right? Tempo good. Anyways, tinker with these cards. If you don't have them, I mentioned you can cut Najok, Mankrik, Thrive to run some more early game if you really want, but this did feel okay early game wise. The deck had evolved to run Disciplinary and Gambling with a bunch of Wisps and Desk Imps, so you could try squeezing that in. I think that might be a little too low value right now in the meta. Playing Desk Imps and Wisps pretty good with Void Touched and cards like Wriggling Horror and Gambling, but I feel like that might be a little too low value in the meta. It was important against some matchups like Quest Shaman because you could make a board of 4/4s that Shaman couldn't quite deal with. Anyways, that's something that could be tinkered with. Anyways, this is the list I played with. The Smite was okay as a finisher. We drew it a couple times. Seems like a solid addition to the deck, and there is enough early game that if you mulligan aggressively for the curve that you are looking for, you will find it most of the time. Yeah, so check out JDeg and Ridiculous Hat. I saw this from Ridiculous Hat, who retweeted it from JDeg, just to make sure everyone's aware of where this came from. I'll put both their Twitters below. Ridiculous Hat is somebody you should be following. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Here's some cool games that the deck wins very quickly. You can have some long games where you squeeze out some value and then get some pings out to end the game, but the deck is absolutely explosive. So check these games out, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, cool. English. I'm not done yet. I'm gonna grab some pizza. You know what? Let's try that Freeze Mage we were recommended. Let's switch to Europe. I think I left that Freeze Mage open somewhere. Where is it? I've mentioned how much I fucking hate Weapon Rogue. I don't know if that's been mentioned. Raised it with Void Touch seems fine. Probably don't keep Turgite though. Yeah, Trug is still pretty good in Living Paladin. Tempo good. Tempo very good. Could no, there's no. It's not Weapon Rogue, right? Fine. Another raise, that'd be pretty crispy. No, that's not it. Well, passage. This is pray that they find a weapon or lose the game. So let's see what they find. Wow, they hit the weapon. That's like, no, they didn't. Okay, Pog. JK, we're chilling for now. It looked like they hit the weapon, but they didn't. Void touched. Sure. So salty. It's like stupid fucking decks. They have to stab this. Maybe I start running Viper over some of these cards. Sure. Well, they have to cloak every turn. I can kill off my own Void Touch to be safe if I need to with the Void Shard.
Another happy guildie.
Viper Berliner. Should be fine from here. Oh, they run Viper as well. For the mirror, I guess, if it's that popular. Cloak. I mean, there's no way they deal 17, right? I could heal myself, but like 17 is not possible, right? Which means I should play the Benedictus, because if I Void Shard like one of my minions, there's a chance I don't have lethal. Wow, it's funny. It's really funny. What a good fucking thing here that we have. It's ha 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 ha. SH top deck? No. Weapon. It's not a good one though. Deadly. It's 11. It's 12. Let me guess. Wicked Stab. Ha 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 ha. Cutting class. They can hit. They can still hit the stab. They can't hit the stab anymore. They have to hit double bleed. Okay. That doesn't work. One off lethal. Pog. It's a good thing I played Neophyte this turn. Void Shard face wasn't good enough. I had to do this and then set up Void Shard lethal. Like, I don't even care that I won. I just didn't want to fucking face the stack. Whoa! Mancrick into Thrive? Oh my god, this is a flashback. I don't think I keep Peasant because they just hear power on 2 and then I'm sad. So we do this. Halfway there. Oh. Yeah, there's some slightly slower lists. So the reason Rancor fell out is because people decided that it's better just to complete the quest and kill people. But with the return of some of the board-centric decks, people have slowed down the pirate list a little bit. I am not interested in that, good sir. I haven't seen Shrog in a while, so this is probably a Tempo Druid. Duh. Bam 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 bam. What? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? If I go Thrive here, the Mana Creek basically dies on board, so I guess we take it slow. Our hand really got bad. The Mana Creek was great, but the rest of this is not that good. Ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum, 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 ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum. How's the deck performing? It's doing great, thanks. Good to see you. 2 games in, mate. It's a decent aggro deck. Well, the first two games highlighted how the deck works. This is more of a high roll with a mana crick, but at the same time, it's a very big low roll because we don't actually have minions that we can play. These 2 void shards are not good.
Reflect in the moonwell.
Okay, Annie. Ba-da-ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum. Tempo good. Killing this plays around composting, which I like a bit more. Freeze Mage last boss, please. Freeze Mage probably isn't a great matchup for us. Might be okay, but composting is your last card? No, good. Take every value trade, yeah. Bum bum bada bum bum. Crescendo Annie, bada 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 bum bum, bada bum bum, bada bum bum. Nice. Bada bada bum bum, bum 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 bum. Oh, you mean play your deck? Probably not. I don't have high hopes for the freeze mage. I'll try it at some point, but I'm not convinced we're getting to it today. Or if we do, then we'll probably do it on Europe. Sure. You moved! You deceived me! I wanted to buff the Wriggling Horror. It's fine. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum,